to come on.
Thank you very much, Dame Angela, and also can I thank my right honourable friend, the member for Hull North, for both securing this debate and having a parliamentary life well spent on this issue alone, I feel. And I also want to pay tribute to all the campaign groups out there, Tainted Blood, Contaminated Blood, Haemophilia Wales, who've been mentioned, and others, who've not just kept this going in terms of the parliamentary agenda, but have served as a lifeline of help and support and advice to people going through this. A point made to me again last week by my constituents, and they've been a literal lifeline, and I want to thank them on behalf of my constituents. I also want to use this opportunity today to say in as strong of terms as I can to urge the Minister to extend the interim payments to bereaved parents and families. We are all relieved that some people have interim payments, but all who suffered must, because they are still living with this every day. And I too want to see the department getting on with the systems, getting on with setting them up now so that final compensation is out once the inquiry is complete as fast as possible with no further delays. Like all of us, we have constituents. I give way to the honourable member.
Very grateful for the honourable member giving way. Can I just ask her on the issue of the enhanced payment for patients with hepatitis C stage 1. In Northern Ireland, that scheme was backdated to 2019. In the rest of the UK, it's backdated to 2017. Now, the British government today have begun acting in a devolved space around budgets because we don't have a government, of course, in Northern Ireland. Would you agree with me that the British government should urgently backdate the payments in Northern Ireland to 2017 like everybody else has?
I very much thank the honourable member for that intervention, and I hope the Minister will address that in his closing remarks. I want to, like other honourable members, speak about their constituents and base my remarks on the Smiths from Newport, who lost their wonderful son, Colin, in 1990 after he received infected blood projects from a prison in Arkansas. Colin was one of 380 children who were infected with HIV. Colin's mum and dad were amongst the youngest parents who lost children to the scandal, and now amongst an ever-diminishing group of bereaved parents still alive, with many having to wait for compensation and justice that never came. And over the years, I've been the MP. It's been one of the greatest privileges to get to know the Smith family. And every time I meet with them, and I met them last week, I am taken back by the fortitude, the dignity and the bravery in face of this disgraceful injustice which they've lived through over all these years. I watched the evidence of the inquiry again last week, and I just do not know how they did it. And it's shameful that other than payments through the Skipton Fund, they have never been properly compensated for the loss of their son. And it's not about the money, it's about the acknowledgement of a life. Colin may not have been a breadwinner, but he would have been. And like other bereaved parents, they were excluded from the interim payments. And whilst they themselves were not directly infected by toxic blood projects, there is no metric under which the Smiths and others like them could not be considered victims of this scandal. I haven't got time to go through the multitude of indignities they suffered. Others, honourable members, have alluded to, having people painting AIDS dead graffiti on the side of their house, having to move home, Mr. Smith losing his job, not being able to get proper employment because of being the father of a child with HIV, and also the financial strain the family have borne, accruing debt, visiting Colin in hospital, transport, etc. There's been no formal acknowledgement of the indignities Colin suffered, and he never lived to receive a formal apology or compensation. This, the campaign will always fall short because no money can compensate, but compensation is still crucial if we're to acknowledge the depth of the failure of the British state. We were let down, these families were let down in the worst possible way. The Smiths are now in their 70s themselves, and although it's not about the money for them, I want them to live in comfort and to be able to support their surviving children in the years that they have left. That is not too much to ask. We cannot wait more years for this. So it's vital the government prepares now for further recommendations so there are no additional waits. The drawn-out process of contacting solicitors of the core participants to gather information for the compensation framework should be undertaken as soon as possible. So can I finally just say this? My ask of the Minister on behalf of the Smith family is simple. Do not make us call more debates. Please do not make us have to bring these families to London again and again. And please do not have to make us tell these really deeply painful stories about our constituents again and again. Please just get, please no more one words from the front bench. Please do, as my honourable friend says, pledge, prepare and pay. There is no time, and they have waited far, far too long already.
Hear, hear, hear.